Use the hashtag #WhatILearnedToday so we can reach out and touch you. The Daily Mojo.
Mike Pence is on my mind because Mike Pence dropped out of the race a few days ago. Now, I can't say I feel sad. No, boy,
come on.
broken up.
Aren't you sad for Mike Pence? I mean, he was such a nice man. He created, when he would walk into a room, he lit up the room. He was warm and fuzzy. And I mean, either that or he came off like a giant dick with Tucker Carlson, and that's pretty much what ruined it for him.
Well, he exemplified everything that's been wrong with the GOP for more than a decade. So the first thing that he did is he stuck in the Reagan era. Now, I was going to call him President Limbaugh. He should have been President Limbaugh. Rush always implored us, look, don't give up on Reagan, because the Democrats never give up on LBJ and they never give up on JFK. And to a certain extent, he's right. But I think I sent Ron a graph, and the graph shows that over the period of time after President Ray, after 1979 through I think it is 2014, you have seen the middle class shrink, but you've seen you've seen middle class shrink because those people are getting wealthier. They're getting wealthier. And it proves that Reaganomics in the Reagan era has worked. Deregulation, free trade, and so on. This graph shows everything that President Reagan fought for works. But then you have the GOP, led by people like Mike Pence, who continue to propound the same themes as President Reagan when he was there. That's no wonder why it's not resonating either with Republican primary voters, independents, or even Democrats that might be willing to cross over and vote for conservatives. We need to be talking about new ideas. And while I love President Reagan, while I'm thankful for everything he did, while I've got him as my avatar on Google, it's time for us to have a generation of younger leaders to come along and say, okay, now that we've got this, let's preserve it and make it better by rolling back more regulations, by rolling back state and local taxes, by making it easier to start businesses and grow so that the next generation of Americans can experience this and have a great life.
It was Joe Biden in a speech, I think in July, where he took aim at trickle-down economics. And, of course, he botched the whole thing. Let me see if I can find it here. He was talking with, I think this is the clip. We used it in a video that we did yesterday. Let me see if this is it. Pretty sure it is.
I'm here today to talk about what we're doing to invest in America, invest in Pennsylvania, invest in our clean energy future, and to talk about the progress we made building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up. I came to office determined to strengthen the middle class. I often say, and I mean it sincerely, Wall Street, good folks down there, but they didn't build the middle class. They didn't build America. The middle class was built by the middle class. And the unions built the middle class and to change the economic direction of this country. Because I got tired of trickle-down economics. I've never been a big fan. If the wealthy do very well, I'm a capitalist. I like the wealthy to be able to people be wealthy. But if the mere fact they do well doesn't mean everybody else does well.
I was raised to
believe
my
dad growing up. They're not
to
a whole
whom much
lot
is given, much will be required.
Sorry, that was the
with everything our country is.
That was just like Mike Pence to interrupt Joe Biden. But essentially, Joe Biden went on to say basically that, trickle down. I never saw anything trickling down on my dad's kitchen table from trickle down economics. Of course, he botched the entire point he was trying to make there because, the middle. What did he say? The upper class didn't build the middle class. The middle class built the middle class, and the unions built the middle class. It was just.
Well, now I got two things to say about that. First of all, the only thing that happens when something grows from the middle out is you get fat, and that's not good. So, because I always heard Barack Obama talk about middle out. No, you get fat. That's what happens when you grow from the middle out. But second, Joe Biden, more than anybody else, exemplifies trickle-down economics. When he wanted to get more money, he went to the wealthier Russian oligarchs and Ukrainian oligarchs and so forth to bribe him and give him money. Therefore, trickle down is something that he lives. He knows it's true. So the whole idea of, the middle class built the middle class, it's absurd because, joking aside, although that is true, think about this. When is the last time you've gone to somebody that has the exact same amount of money as you and they could give you a job? You haven't. Now, that person might be able to put a few dollars behind a business that you're doing and you have a little bit more, but they can't do the same things that a wealthier person can do when they decide, okay, you know what, I'll lend you money to start that radio station, or I'll help you invest in this. That's an example of trickle down. Or when they say, okay, you know what, I'll give you a job working on my yacht. Yeah, now you have money and you can take some of that money and pay to somebody else. That's trickle down economics. That's basic economics and it's reality. So if it works for Joe Biden, it'll work for you.
Yeah, they really need, well, I was going to say they need to find a new sales pitch idea guy, but it's actually working for the low information voters out there, at least a certain percentage of them, because at least some of them still believe in Biden.
Well, there's always, you got to realize there are a lot of people out there who just love the idea of hating anybody that has something other than they do. They can't comprehend having success because they won't try to have success. They don't understand what that means. So therefore, they look out and they see somebody and he's wealthy. Well, clearly he must have stolen it. It's one of the most ignorant statements that I've ever heard. No, I don't lionize people for being wealthy, but I certainly respect what they did, whether they inherited it, whether they earned it. And very few people are ever able to steal it. And the only way they're able to do that, and this is halfway joking, but it's true, is when they join the government, because that is the legalized theft, the legalized graft that allows people to come with almost no income and savings, get elected to Congress, get elected to the Senate, or become the U.S. president, and then leave there being extraordinarily wealthy. The rest of us have to work for it.
It is truly amazing how many people come out of government service very, very wealthy. What do you think what was Pence's biggest problem, aside from the fact that he was Mike Pence?
Yeah, he's been honestly a bad candidate in a variety of races for a long time. A lot of people forget in 2016 he was on his way to potentially losing his governorship because he had signed a religious liberty bill, which, by the way, I supported and the organization I was working for at the time supported. But in the aftermath, he was not able to push back on any of the flack that he caught from woke corporations who were complaining. And so therefore he was on the ropes. He was a bad candidate then. He was a bad candidate for president now. There's nothing about him that was inspiring, and he was never able to effectively articulate conservative principles or why he should be in office.
You remember when his all of his merch gear, I don't know if it's still up there or not, but his merch gear was basically too honest. That's what his the tagline was, too honest. It's like, oh, this guy is
who was thinking that up?
Yeah, it's way out of touch. All right, before we let you go, first I wanted to show everybody your costume because this is a fabulous costume. Rick James lives.
Yes.
What party were you at?
It was a party for a couple of friends of mine up in Frederick, Maryland. Actually, a couple used to be in the Maryland legislature, and they said, hey, we're having a party. So my friend and I, it's Isabella there, we went up. We got dressed up. Costume was her idea. She really knows what to do, so it worked out, and I won.
Ta-da.
$50 gift certificate.
Nice. And you met Raven Harrison, I understand.
I did. She is amazing, by the way, and she told me that she was going to be on Daily Mojo too. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. She's been on a couple of times, and we told her that it would be fun for her to do because she has a lot to say. I think she could, do a daily minute or a weekly minute. We'll see where that goes. She's going to be on the program tomorrow. So, all right. Why do people need to head over to FreedomWorks and get involved?
Well, you're tired of the TSA. You're tired of Joe Biden. You're tired of this idea of, trickle down economics where our wealth trickles down to everybody in the government. That version of it. If you want all that to go away, and you want freedom, liberty, and economic prosperity, go to freedomworks.org, sign up to be a member of our freedom teams, get involved. That's what happens. You get involved, we can get this stopped.
Simple as that. All right, buddy, you go out there and get them, and we'll say a little prayer for the Mets.
The First Amendment lives here. Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.